Hi, my name is Donna, and I'm going to share with you training guides and tips. In dog training, there are no magic wands, there's no red ruby slippers, there's you, your dog. We use positive dog training methods, but you have to remember that positive does not mean permissive. The one thing you always have with you is your voice. Give your commands in a commanding voice. Don't ask the dog to do something. By that I mean don't say sit, say sit. Down, down. There's a difference implied in your voice. Praise, you always have your voice with you. So you want your praise to be sincere. So just praise them. And when you praise them, mean it what you say. You know, yay, good puppy. But you don't have to baby talk them also. Facial expressions. When you're training your dog, you want to have a nice expression. Like here, this is an angry expression on your face. And dogs, they don't respond well to anger. Then you don't have to, like I said, with a question mark talking, don't have a question mark on your face. You want to show your dog that you're happy with them. A little smile, they enjoy that. And they really read your body language. So you have to watch that. Let's say you've come home from being out for a while and you discover your dog's chewed a hole in the carpet. Don't get after your dogs. Dogs live in a moment. They won't know what you did. And people say they know what they did wrong. They don't. They're reading your body language. If your dog shows fear or apprehension, do not attempt to make him feel better with coos and baby talk. That'll just reinforce the dog's behavior. Years ago, I had a Belgian sheepdog. She used to bark at the hot air balloons. I, not knowing better at the time myself, would go outside and, it's okay, girl, come on, it's okay. So she learned, if I bark at the hot air balloons, she'll come out. So she used to go outside, look in the sky, and start giving her barks, and there wasn't a balloon in sight. But I came out, she got what she wanted. So watch what you reinforce. If your dog is growling or barking in class, don't worry about it. We'll help your pup deal with it, and you. During the first class, don't be surprised if there's a lot of barking and carrying on. But each week, it will subside. We employ the use of a safe space behind a visual barrier to keep your dog safe and you. And it helps them adjust. Don't take it personally if we ask you about doing this for your dog. We're just thinking about you and your dog. Practice. Please time to practice with your dog at least once a day. Keep training sessions short. As they age, you can make them a little longer. When you train your dog, use their meal time. Have their food in there, ask them to sit before you give it to them. Take half of it out and do some work with them. When you're sitting, another good time for training is what I call their advertisements. When you're ready to sit down to watch your TV show, before you do, get some treats ready, your leash if you're going to use it, have your pup nearby, advertisement comes along, get your dog, get your toys, work your dog a little bit through the advertisement's done, you're done till the next one. If you train during an hour's advertisement show, you get a lot of training done. Don't practice when you're in a bad mood. If you're frustrated, stop. Otherwise, you're just going to give wrong information to the dog. And training should be a bonding and fun time for you and your dog. Always end your training session on a positive note. Don't worry if your dog performs perfectly at home, but doesn't know when you get to class. Dogs don't generalize well. It is believed that a dog needs about 500 repetitions to learn something successfully. That means they only understand in the kitchen if that's where you train them. You move to the dining room, you have to restart them. You come to class, they're going to say, I don't know, there's too many things going on. So, have patience with them, go in other areas. There's a saying that nothing in life is free. For dogs, it means that when you give them a cookie, they have to do something. I go out to give my dog a cookie, a sit, or a down, whatever they ask them to do. One other thing I want to tell you about your dogs. When I first started dog training, I had a lab who had been abused. Back then the classes were 8 weeks long. And I have to tell you, at the end of the class, they did a full graduation. You had to come out in front of everybody and run through all the things they tried to teach us. Well, I remember Bruno and I failed every exercise. He couldn't sit, he couldn't down, he couldn't walk nicely on a leash. But he was learning to trust me. And that was the most valuable thing that could have happened. And I think that's why I got so interested in dog training, was I saw what it changed for his quality of life. Anyway, on with that. You want to be sure to please review the reading of materials that we've handed out that you've got in their orientation. If you have any questions, you can call the club, ask them, or ask during the first class. We look forward to seeing you and your pup there. Have a great time and enjoy. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Leah.
And I'm Dee. We are going to cover your Getting Started at Home homework. These are the things you can start teaching your pooch at home in preparation for our first class gathering. The digital version of this handout is included in the link to this video. If you happen to have it in front of you, we hope you will follow along. The first task for your homework is for you to select your release word or simple phrase. You want to pick a word or phrase that does not come up often in your normal everyday conversations. We do not recommend selecting the word okay, as most of us say it quite often, sometimes without realizing it. This could lead to confusion for your pup if you say it accidentally when chatting with a friend or whoever. The purpose of the release word is to let your dog know when the exercise is completely finished. It is not a wait or stay command awaiting further instructions. A release word means you are completely finished, kind of like an off switch. Once you have selected your release word or phrase, make sure all of your house members, partners, roommates, kiddos are on the same page, using the same command. An example of a release word or phrase could be something like dismissed, break, all done, or finished. I like to use no mas with my dogs as it does not come into my normal everyday conversation in a normal basis. So whatever you choose, stay consistent with it. To help me demonstrate today, I have Mina the Leonberger with me. First, we're going to ask your dog to sit. Now, when we give the release word, we can be really excited or we can offer them a treat, whichever it takes to get them out of position in the beginning. She's doing a good job of holding sit, so I'm going to reward her for that. Good sit. Okay, now I'm going to use my release word. In the beginning, like I said, you can use a treat to lure her off, or you can get really excited if that works for your dog. And we're going to say no mas. Yes. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, we'll try this one more time. So we're going to have a sit, and we're going to coax her off. No mas. Yes, good girl, yay! It's a party. It's way more fun if you get super excited. As you can see, she's very excited and happy about it. No mas. Yes, good girl. Woo, it's a party. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. So take a small break. If you're feeling comfortable with it, then go ahead and repeat it a couple times. Make sure the sessions are short and sweet, basically, and try to end on a good note. For your next homework assignment, Leah is going to review the marker sound in Name Game.
Sound. A marker is any sound or word that you will use to tell your dog when he or she did something right. It can be a powerful tool if trained and used correctly because it can speed up communication between you and your dog. It allows you to mark the behavior instantly, and after some time it may also act as a reward itself. To get started training the marker, say the word or sound. I use the word yes, but you can also use a click if you're using a clicker. It should be a short and crisp sound. Immediately give your dog a treat. Repeat the word in varying context and locations several times throughout the day and practice this for a few days. The training is successful when the dog gets excited when he hears the sound or word, but before he receives a treat. Once he understands the marker sound, you will use this to let him know he did something right. For example, you tell your dog to sit. As soon as his butt hits the floor, you mark the behavior, yes, and deliver the reward. Remember that timing is important. Be sure to mark the exact desired behavior that you want. This is Winston. He is a 2-year-old standard poodle, and he is going to help us demonstrate the marker sound. So we're using yes as our marker, and as he's learning yes, you'll see that he is hearing the word yes, and as soon as he responds, he gets a treat. So this is the part that you're going to do over the next couple of days. Yes, he doesn't have to do anything other than respond, Winston, come. Yes. Then the behavior that I want, he gets rewarded for. Winston, come. Yes, good job. Touch, yes. So you can use it in different contexts. Come, yes, and he gets the reward. Touch, yes, he gets the reward. So it's a sequence of events where he performs the behavior. I say yes to mark that it's correct, and then he is rewarded. Another thing you can practice at home is teaching your dog the name game. We want our dogs to respond to their name so that we have their full attention and can deliver the next cue. This game also allows you to create polite and relaxed eye contact with people while you're reinforcing your dog's name. To teach this, your dog should be off leash and in a safe, controlled location. Make sure that the area is clear of loose items on the floor and is not a slippery surface. The treats you're using should be easily visible on the floor surface. Hold several pieces of food in both hands. When the dog looks up at you, slowly toss the food to the side a few feet away. Make sure that your dog can track the movement of your hand and the food hitting the floor. As the dog is eating the food, be ready to repeat the toss in the opposite direction. When the dog looks directly at you, say his name and toss the food a few feet away. Repeat these steps, switching hands and tossing food in the opposite direction. When you have only one piece of food left, call your dog to you and give the food when he is in front of you, looking at your face. Say your release word then and move away from the dog, and the game is done. Word of caution, please do not go overboard and make this game too difficult for the dog to receive the good reward. Remember, this exercise is about reinforcing eye contact with people and responding to his or her name. A high success rate means that your dog is learning. So we're going to practice the name game. And I have some very light colored treats so that he'll be able to see them. Get it. Winston. Get it. Winston. I say his name, he gets the reward. Winston. Get it? Winston, get it. Start really easy with this. Winston, get it. Winston. And then bring him to you, and he's getting the reward. So you're basically tossing the treats out to each side, saying his name, he gets the reward, and then you can finish with them in front of you. Good job.
For your last homework assignment, we have the go to the mat game, also known as place, or as I like to use the word, blankie. This exercise comes in handy everywhere you go. If you go out and about, they will always have their safe spot to go to, no matter where you are. To get started, we only need a few things for this game. Your mat, or blankie, which, by the way, should already be in your puppy go bag, her leash, and of course, lots and lots of treats. If you are watching food intake, feel free to measure a portion of your puppy's dinner into a cup to use as treats. That way you can be sure you are not overfeeding her. Remember to keep the training sessions short and always end on an upbeat note. It's way more fun for both of you this way. This game can be played on or off leash. We prefer starting the pup on a leash. To start this exercise, I have Mina the Leo with me again. Remove your puppy from the area for a few minutes while you set up. Place the pup's mat on the floor and scatter several pieces of kibble or treats on the mat. So we're going to start there. Okay? Then you want to walk them slowly by the mat until they discover it. At first, it's not necessary to assign a cue. And what I'm going to do before she looks up, I'm putting another treat right between your front paws. She's getting a really good idea that this is her space, and she's going to really like being on it. At some point, she'll snuffle around for a little bit, and she may look up at me maybe for one more treat. This is going to be an excellent time to use your release word. No mas. Yes, good girl, good girl. As you get better with it, you can put the treats there. And eventually you will assign a cue to it, but it's not necessary right now. Again, excellent time when she's looking at me to use my release word. No mas. Yes. Good girl, good girl. And you can get really excited. It's a really big party when they do it correctly. When you're finished, go ahead and pick up the mat and set it aside for your next training session. Once the pet begins to understand the game, try moving to a different room in your house or maybe in your backyard with a leash so you have a little bit more control over where the pup goes. And then nothing more. So there's no need to assign the cue right off the bat. You will do that eventually. But as you can see, she already knows this command, and this is her safe spot no matter where we go. We can take her to a cafe, we can take her to a restaurant, or wherever we decide to go. If we have her blankie, this is her safe spot. So we call this the go to mat game. I call it the go to blankie game. Very good. Okay.
Reminders about your homework. So pick a release word to let your dog know when an exercise is finished. Make sure that everyone in your household knows and uses the same release word. You're also going to find soft treats that your dog loves. Use them sparingly during the week, and remember to bring them to class. Bring a lot of them, and I would also recommend bringing a few different types. Play the name game to reinforce the eye contact and quick attention, and also practice going to the mat to provide your dog with a safe place to relax that can also be mobile.
From all of us at the Napa Valley Dog Training Club, thank you very much for joining us today and for taking the time to review these valuable tools before the class starts. We hope you have enjoyed all of our orientation videos. We look forward to meeting you and your fur baby and helping you both build a wonderful relationship together. The more you work with them, the deeper your bond will become. And last but not least, remember to catch them doing something good.